Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am leaving the house right now, and I figured that I would head to a couple of vintage stores. We were out of town this past weekend for a friend's bachelorette slash bachelor party. So I kind of need to get my life together. I need to get groceries, go to the farmer's market, but make it fun. So I figured that I'd take you along for a little bit of vintage shopping today since I am heading all around town to run some errands regardless. So let's do this, and I will pick you up when I get to Cooper City Antique Mall, which will be my first stop.
I saw this bowl. I really like the color. And I was just checking to see if it has any crazing, like those little cracks. Because if yes, like there's some, then I don't like to put food in here because it gets stuck in there and I feel like it's unsanitary. But this one's 35. It's a good price and it's a really pretty color. I also saw they had this, which is a brown planter similar to the other one that I bought from here with this nice thick lip, but it's more chocolatey brown. Mine has a little bit of that like red undertone, and I prefer the one that I got. I see this glass vase. I think that that has a really pretty silhouette for flowers. It says Crystal Pedestal Bowl 24. That's really pretty with that really wide lip on it. And I think it would hold flowers nicely. I think about that, how the shape would actually hold stems. Okay, I see that this Mikasa teapot is sort of Art Deco. I love the little round features on it and the way that the spout comes out. I think it has a lovely silhouette. It's a little bit of an off-white color, but I saw this here a couple months ago and was priced at like 130, but I see that now it's down to 60. I think I'm gonna put it up front while I walk around so that I can think about it, but I think that's really nice. It's something unique and different. I've been looking for a kettle actually to put on the stove, something that looks really pretty that I can leave out. I don't really think that this would replace that, but this could be nice if I was steeping something and I wanted to make a big batch and then go like sit at my desk and do work. I could give myself little tea refills. I feel like that would be really nice and kind of elevate a little everyday ritual. I see a lot of crystal bowls today and I really love this one. I love that it's on a pedestal, that it has a pedestal bottom. You rarely see those, and I like that if you can see it, how the engraved pattern is more of just straight lines, not quite so ornate. To me, this gives it a little bit more of a timeless look. It's priced quite high. It is Waterford, but you can normally find Waterford at quite a deal. This is 300. If it was lower, I would have bought it just because I really love a pedestal and I also love the sparkle of crystal, especially in for the holidays, which are coming up. This one's really nice too. It has that same pattern on it. This is again Waterford and it's the Lismond or Lismore, um, the Lismore pattern. This again is priced quite high, but the Lismond, what was it called? The Lismore pattern is still sold, so you can actually still get glasses and stuff that are Lismore, which is great. I've actually been eyeballing some, so these are beautiful. They're just, for me right now, priced a little high. These I actually thought were quite nice. A simple black and white pattern on there with a gold rim. I'm not a huge fan of the gold rim. I love gold. I have a lot of gold in my house, but the gold leaf, you really have to be delicate with it when you're cleaning it so that it doesn't come off. I like my stuff, especially my teapot, my mugs, and things to be complete sets. I don't like to mix and match when it comes to that. So this wouldn't be something for me, but I can definitely appreciate it. I think it's a really, really beautiful and timeless pattern. I have no use for this, maybe for a candle, but this caught my eye. It's an off-white. It does look like it had a gold leaf detail around the rim. It's pretty faint now. It hasn't been taken care of very well, but what caught my eye is this Greek key detail. I love the geometric nature of that print, and I feel like this could be really nice just like on a side table or a coffee table when you're doing styling. You could set it on top of a stack of books or even set a candle on top of here, and that could be really nice. But I love that sort of more ivory off-white color. And for me, what really got me is that pattern detail on the edge. Beautiful. And $5, which is great. I have not found an etched carafe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right in person, but this is a beautiful one. It's super thin and dainty. I'm not a huge fan of the wheat pattern that's on there, but it's a really, really pretty piece. This is nice. I like the color for fall. It's not in great condition. It has some creasing to it, and it's priced at 49, which honestly is not bad, but I like that it's low. I think it's good for styling, but it's also practical, and I really like the color. This I think is really nice. Ooh, it looks like something a little bit more modern that you would buy. But if you can see, each section here is separated out, which is really good for like little snacks when you're hosting. If you don't have appetizers or you just want a little something until dinner is served, you can do like olives with the pits you can put over here, or you can even do like nuts, a little bit of cheese, and some potato chips, something like that, just so that there's something available when people walk in to snack on. That's sort of one of my rules of thumb when I have people over. There's just something about it that sort of says like welcome, it makes everybody feel relaxed. You can make your own drink, you can grab a little snack and get to socializing. I think that this is really nice. I recently saw this Oak House share some that just had the two sections. I haven't seen one that has the three sections, but I think that it's really nice. Keep looking for price on here and I don't see one, so I think I'm going to put this up front and see if I can get a price on it. These ivory plates are really pretty with that detail on the edge. It sort of reminds me of lace. I think that those are really nice. This is really pretty. This herb platter, just a white serve platter with different herbs labeled all around it. I think that that is so cute. It seems to be in great condition, and I feel that white and green is just classic. It goes with so many things. Okay, it says Herb Garden Ovenware by Taste Setter Japan. Really nice, and it's a good size. No price though. These are new. I see some fur hats. Honestly, just so chic. I love including some vintage clothing items into my wardrobe. I have for years. They become some of my favorite staple pieces always. I have no need for a fur hat here in sunny South Florida, but so chic. I think that this one's my favorite. I love the detail on these. They're ironstone, K vintage ironstone, Harmony House, Federalist. I am obsessed. I think that I need to get these. I just love the detailing around the edges and the fact that there's a couple of pieces all together that match. For me is ideal. I really love this ice bucket. The stripe detail to me feels so timeless and like almost like a little bit tailored, a little bit more handsome vibe to it. And I like uh this to me looks like it's maybe stainless steel. Um this says Sue Ice Bucket. Oh, Sue's probably the vendor. Sasky L 95, a little bit pricey, but I think that that is really pretty. I love ice buckets. I haven't bought any yet because I'm just not sure if I will use them, but I would use like a giant drink bucket for when we have parties. But I think that's a really pretty one. These are beautiful with the intricate metal details and the beveled edge. This one in the bottom has a little leather, I mean, velvet pad, like more for jewelry. This one I think is my favorite though. I normally don't like super intricate stuff, but you just have to really appreciate the craftsmanship on this with that beveled edge and the mirrored bottom. I actually have a matching set. This is 30, not bad, but I have a matching set, two more this size that sort of have like a Victorian or Gothic look to them, and I love them. I have them on the side table in the living room next to the couch, but these are really good ones. And something like this size could be nice for like Polaroid photos so that you can have something sentimental out on display. I think that would be really nice. Okay, this booth was sort of under construction, so to speak, last time I came, but I love this amber glass. I love the rattan detail on it. It says ice bucket from France, 46. But I love the little side handles. I just think that that is so charming and it would be great for like flowers. If you liked more modern, these could be nice, but this one just really has my heart. And then I saw these cute little cheese picks with the little cheese wheel holder and the little rat. I think it's a little bit too maybe cutesy for my style, but I think that those are just so cute and charming, and it seems like that is a great example of the unique items that you can find vintage shopping that you might not be able to find out at a regular store. This too, absolutely beautiful. These copper pair of salt and pepper shakers with the brass handle on them. I actually have never seen a pair like this. 180 for the pair. I know it seems a bit pricey, but actually I don't think it's too bad. I have a pair, they're all brass, and they actually don't work very well. Uh, I think that I bought them off of Amazon from a seller or maybe Etsy. They are not vintage, they are new, but functionality wise, they're not great. And I want to say that I splurged on them. I think it was like maybe 90 each, which is about the same price as these, but these are beautiful. I see this like ironstone tureen. At least I think it's a tureen, but it's more low, more shallow and wide. I love the silhouette to it. It's really sleek and pretty. I love the handle detail to it. It's a good price, 45. And the brand, Haviland France. And there's no crazing in the inside, so I'm thinking about getting this. I really have been wanting a tureen. I'm afraid this one might be a little bit small for hosting, but it's a good price and I really like the silhouette. I saw these. I think that these are great. They look like they're in good condition. I flipped it over. It says Williams Sonoma, so I doubt that they're vintage, but these pretty glass Canisters, they have a silver topper with a little rubber piece in the inside so that they seal up nicely. And then this little carrier so that you can set this down on your table and put olive oil in one and balsamic in the other. I think that that is so practical and a beautiful item for hosting. This is just a one-off glass. It's not part of a set, but it did catch my eye because it has that beautiful leaf detail that I collect. Majority of the crystal and glassware that I collect has that on it, unless it's like a one-off piece that I just can't live without, like it has a pedestal base or something. But this is just beautiful. It's so small, I'm not sure what I would do with it, but if it was in a set or it was wider, I would be tempted. This is a really cute find. It's a salt cellar, and you can see the little peg coming through the top. So you can hang this on the wall in the kitchen, like behind the stove, and then the little wooden lid is attached. So I'll show you on this one since it's slower, but you fill it up with salt. You can leave it on the counter or you can attach it to the wall. This one's really pretty. It's just so simple. It's actually been here for a long time. I think last year I took it down to take a look and it was like 120 bucks. So a little pricey. I have one off Zara that's beautiful that we use every day. It's on the counter in the kitchen. It's just really practical to have a giant salt cellar like that. And that one's really pretty. I also saw this, which I have seen here before, and I've almost bought it a couple times. I am tempted, but it is a silver plated card holder. So for playing cards, you can put a set of cards on each side, and it has a little bit of velvet on the bottom so it doesn't scratch your table. And then you can just leave this out since it's so pretty, like on a coffee table. And when you have friends over, you have something to play, which is great. We've been super into dominoes. The game is called Mexican Train. We play it almost every time we have people over. We haven't really been into cards lately, but I think that that's a really nice way to just have them easily accessible out on display. I see here is a little section of antique ribbon. At least I think it's antique ribbon. Like this is velvet, would be so pretty for Christmas wrapping. I was never into, and this looks like it could be real silk. It says satin, but I'm very into wrapping gifts as beautifully as possible. I never really thought about buying vintage ribbon, but it's something that Rajiv Surendra on YouTube mentioned. And so now I have been keeping my eye out. I think that that's a hot tip because nothing's made like it used to be made. If you want some ribbon and wrapping material that is top-notch quality, I think that it's great to look vintage. I've never actually seen any vintage, but there's a price for everything. Look. This is interesting. I see this rolling pin. It's ceramic with the metal handle. Vintage depression milk glass rolling pin with aluminum handles. I hope somebody has more information on this in the comments, but look at the stamp. Then there's the numbers. It looks like you can spin the base around to maybe do a date or something if you're stamping letters. It says vintage stamp $9.99, but this is so cool. It's actually on my list right now to buy some embossers. I used to have them for my company, but now I feel that I need one with our house branding on it with the holidays coming up so that I can really personalize all of our letters or even emboss disposable napkins or guest napkins when I have people over. It just adds such a personal touch. Okay, we're back in Jasper Kayne. And off the bat, I see that this blue chair is still here. I'm obsessed with a French blue. And I also really like that modern glass side table. I think that that's really nice, especially with a low seat like that. That's a really great pairing. And I really like this bowl. It says it's a Pyrex divider bowl, 20 bucks. It's a great price. And I think that's something that I would actually use. I've been trying to stick to white, off-white, yellow, like a light yellow or a mustard yellow, and silver for my serveware so that everything's really easy to mix and match. But I think that a pop of blue could be nice. I just honestly love an interesting blue, especially this color blue. Like this chair is my favorite color. I think this is an interesting brass footed bowl. What drew me to it, I don't know how I feel about this sort of like banana shape, but I really like this um, perforated detail on the outer edge. That's really unique and different, and it's on little feet. Could be a cool decorative object. Okay, last time I was here, I found a acrylic oil lamp. This one is glass, and I love the shape. It's just so unique. It is 79, but I absolutely love that. It sort of looks like a pitcher style with that handle, and it kind of has like a beaker look. So cool. Okay, here is a unique looking ice bucket. It has the brass rim details and handles on it. I like that oval shape, and it's sort of like Regency style, in my opinion. The label says Nero brass silver chiller. I think that's nice. To me, that's really classic with this rim, that style rim, and the two-tone metal. I see these crystal decanters, which are nice, but what really caught my eye is the little labels. I think that these are just so classy to put on bottles. This one, can't quite see what that says, but I love the style of this one. I think that that would be really nice if you had a bar cart or had bar items out on display. This is a very cool glass bowl, would make for a great sculptural piece. Be a little hard to put anything in there because of this, but like just as a sculptural piece in the middle of a dining room table or on a real like primitive wood table to get a variation of textures. I'm all about lots of different materials while keeping a neutral palette, and this would be so cool. Okay, this piece caught my eye just as like a sculptural object in silver. I feel like this would be really nice against my primitive items, but it has a lid on it. It says it's a votive candle holder, which I can see it has the glass insert on the inside, but I feel like I wouldn't use this for candle because the light wouldn't penetrate the vessel, like it wouldn't emit out and sort of create that beautiful glow that, in my opinion, is the whole point of candlelight. But I think this could be really cool to like store something in with the lid. And in general, it's just a really pretty sculptural object. It looks to me like it's probably silver plated, which means I could shine it up, and it's 16. I think that's cool. Even maybe for like a bathroom to store stuff in or on a bedroom nightstand. Could be nice. Okay, I just spotted this other floor lamp, which is so tall for a floor lamp, and I don't like the shade on it, but I love a really patinaed mirror. And this is a really patinaed mirrored floor lamp. I mean, the detail on this is actually insane. With the base like that, it's tapered, so it's quite thin at the bottom and then gets thicker towards the top. It is so interesting. I've never seen anything like it. Let me see. I don't see any. Oh, here. It says visual comfort antique mirrored large floor lamp, 289. So maybe it's faux antique mirrored, but nonetheless, what a cool piece. This really large scale painting is quite nice. I like that it doesn't have any super bright coloring on it. It actually looks really great in this black frame. But I love the colors on here, and it's a sort of like a classic swampy Florida landscape. Sort of reminds me of maybe the Everglades or somewhere a little more inland. It's not quite so coastal, which I really love. I think that's a beautiful piece, and it's not bad. Priced at 239. Okay, heading into Oddballs. Hi, how are you?
Okay, I saw these popcorn containers. It says set of 3. I only see 2, but nonetheless, I think that these are pretty cute. I'm not going to buy them, but they did make me think of my husband because he is absolutely obsessed with popcorn. Those are cute. They're definitely nicer than the sort of like nostalgic plastic ones that you can buy. Those are ceramic and they look like they're in great condition. Okay, these canisters caught my eye. They're in a caddy. I love that they're cut crystal and that the lid has this little opening so that you can put the spoons in there. Although the actual caddy itself does have little spoon holders like that. I just wish that this was silver plated so that it had a nice shine to it. I'm not a huge fan of the, I don't know if this is nickel. I'm going to assume nickel since it's not heavy. One of you guys taught me that. This lid is very lightweight, so I'm going to say it's nickel, not pewter, but I really prefer something with high shine when it comes to my silver, which is why I prefer silver plated or sterling silver instead of pewter or nickel, which actually I'm looking at this. It says silver plate, but gosh, it's so dirty. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned up. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but that doesn't really look savable to me unless there's a hack or something. I stand corrected, I guess. Here's a nice crystal Waterford bowl with the flat base to it. It's a pretty good size. I would say probably like 7 inches diameter. And it's 68. It says it's an Alana bowl, so I'm assuming Alana is this detail design on the outside. But 68, not bad. At Cooper City Antique Mall, there was a vendor who had quite a few Waterford bowls priced extremely high, as you guys will see. And this, I think, is also nice. This Waterford pitcher. It's actually a cute size, probably 6 or 8 inches high, and it has this leaf detail. It's a little bit different than the leaf detail that I typically collect, but it has a little interesting spout. It's just overall cute. I feel like anything cut crystal is quite classic. Okay, I was eyeballing this cigarette ashtray a while back because I think it's just like such an interesting shape. And my husband has been asking me for a little container that we can throw our Topo Chico bottle tops in on the bar. And I feel like if they'll come down on this price, I think that this would actually be a good thing to have. To just drop them in here, it's sort of, let me put this down. To drop them in here, because it's sort of like a little mini trash can design. But I feel like it's cute. It's an interesting object, and it's actually quite practical for us. This seems like maybe it's a cream and sugar bowl type situation, but I think that this little miniature cut crystal bowl, I mean, it's tiny, like 2 inches, would be so nice just for tabletop styling, like a side table or a coffee table or a nightstand. It is practical to have like little decorative objects like this, and you can't go wrong with cut crystal. I have not seen one that small. And saw this coffee canister. I think it's quite nice. It doesn't actually, to me, look old. It sort of looks like a replica of some kind, but it's in good condition. I like the details on it. It feels quite classic to me, like it would go with a lot of different styles. I would prefer if it was in a set. But for $12, it says Zoe, made in China. But I do like the design. I see this piece of ceramic. I think that this is really nice. I like the color. It's sort of more beige than it is yellow. I don't know if that's coming off on camera, but I flipped it over and it's Robinson Ransbottom, which is fantastic. It's super heavy. Robinson Ransbottom is super classic American pottery. And I think that this is a great find. For $10, it's a pie plate. I think that's super nice. This is nice. The carafe, gosh, I never know how you're supposed to pronounce that, but with the rattan sleeve on it and the set of matching glasses. It's nice that it comes with a set of 4. I feel like I would buy just the carafe and then get a different set of cups that I could get, like a set of 12 or 16 cups. But that would be such a nice set for like outdoor hosting. I am in the midst of trying to build an outdoor hosting set that is sort of that vibe. Okay, I'm heading into Decorative Fine Arts and Antiques, which is also where Abington Auction and C. Biddle Auction are located. Okay, there's an auction that's live right now. So this is one side of his shop. That's Decorative Fine Arts and Antiques. And this is Abington Auction and Seabiddle. Seabiddle is like more of the smaller goods. It's Craig's wife who does the Seabiddle. And then, oof, let me slow down. Sorry about that. And then a lot of these bigger items are Abington auctions. So this is all out of a house in West Palm Beach, a family that's from Lexington. Really sort of like gaudy old things, but some really beautiful things. Like this mirror is absolutely stunning. Um, Craig pointed out to me this table back here that is also a showstopper. Although it does have a lot of that old school detail on it, I really love the muted blue colors, and I think that the marble top was a really great choice with the gray veining and white detail. There's some pretty artwork too. It's not really my style, but it's hard to find big pieces of artwork, and all of the things that came out of this house, I just had a chat with Craig about it, were, very expensive custom or collectible items. These I feel are my favorite. Like, imagine those at an entryway would be absolutely epic. Solid carved marble. And I really love the fluted shape, how the lip is much wider at the top. I also like this horse portrait. It's not quite right for me, but I actually have been on the lookout for a horse portrait, which might seem a little bit random, but my dad does live on a cattle farm with horses, and I don't know why, but he's always just had like stallion energy to me. And I really I think I'm just drawn to horse portraits for that reason. I have found a couple on eBay that to me are just stunning, but I believe that they're prints.
and they're priced quite high for prints. And I would really like something more original. So that is something that I have my eye on, and I really do like this frame with those. Let's see if this will focus. Line details in there. That's really, really pretty. Okay, I really despise fake plants, and this is fake orchid, but I love that aged terracotta looking pot. I recently bought some faux aged terracotta pots off of Amazon. Was disappointed. They're actually back. They're in the back of my car because I'm gonna return them and just go with the good old classic. Get some pots from the legend himself, Ben Wolf. So that will be an upcoming purchase that I'm gonna make. This little silver tray, I think, is so nice. It has the rounded edges. It gives a little bit of that more, it's not an oval shape, but it just gives it a little bit more of a soft look. It's on little feet. It's not super ornate. It's 25, which is a great price. And then I wanted to show you guys this. These, I love the shape of those. A small and a large. It's just like such a classic shape, not super ornate. 55. They look like silver plate for sure. Restoration hardware. Ugh. But I do really like these. Quite lightweight. Okay, and as always, this is the place to come if you want silver trays. He has the best selection of silver trays. I think that this one is actually my favorite. It's just really scratched up, but I like the overall silhouette. I like these little details. Um, I'm just waiting. I'm not going to buy too many silver trays. I just want like a smaller one and a really large one. And so I'm really just waiting for the right one. I did buy one off Amazon that I think is lovely. That was a recommendation from Brandy Jackson, and I'm super happy with it. It's on the coffee table right now. But yeah, and so we wait.
Okay, guys, it's the following day. I'm back from vintage shopping. I went yesterday and I wanted to hop on here to show you guys what I got. I found this Robinson Ransbottom pie dish. It's low, shallow, simple. I love the color. It's less of a yellow and more of like a beige. It has the Robinson Ransbottom markings on the bottom, and it was only 10 bucks, which is a great price. Robinson Ransbottom is like a US made stoneware, pottery. Robinson Ransbottom is the man who ran this company and handmade, I think, most of the stuff in like the 1900s to like 1920s. I recently looked this up for a little refresh. Anyway, they made stuff up until like 2005. The old school stuff is the best. They were bought in like 1920s by a corporation where they continue to run, but it's all US made. It's stoneware, it's heavy. You can find, like, I have a little pot to put plants in. It's beautiful. I have a dog bowl. When I find his stuff, I buy it, especially if it's at a good price. It's much harder to come across now. So I've noticed some of the prices are like very high, but even he made like a lot of the yellowware, I believe. Anyway, it's all very well made, good stuff. And I don't have a pie dish. I'm not into baking and I'm not into sweets, but I do love a good quiche. So I was excited to find this. I don't have any pie dishes at the moment. I found this beautiful amber glass ice bucket. It said that it was French. At the top, it's probably like 4 inches in diameter, but this beautiful warm amber
color, I feel just would add so much depth and dimension to a space, especially if you are a neutral lover like myself. This really can add that dimension that I think that we all need. I love that the rattan detail on here. It's quite dainty the way that it's woven, and it is in perfect condition. Although it says that it's an ice bucket, which I think it could be useful, like if it's just a couple or you just have a friend and you want to put some ice in here with a set of tongs to keep your drink fresh while you socialize, that could be nice and practical. I haven't found myself personally using ice buckets, although I think that they are wonderful for to use as vases, or even since this one is glass, the transparent glass I think could be nice to put like a nice chunky pillar candle inside. But yeah, as an ice bucket, I love the idea of an ice bucket, but throughout the years hosting, I really haven't found a need for an ice bucket personally. Although I love the idea, what I have been using and actually need a new one is like a big drink bucket to put like whole bottles of wine inside of to keep them chilled, and then they're out on the counter and easily accessible so nobody feels weird about like digging through your fridge, or like we have those drawer drink fridges. So I do use that. I've actually been using my mother-in-law's because she's only a street over. I go over there and I grab it for hosting. But there's a heritage one, part of the heritage collection on Pottery Barn, that has been on my wish list for years, like a nice big one that I can just leave out on the counter. So that I think I'm going to need to pick up actually for this winter season. But anyway, this I was very excited about. Okay, next up is this Mikasa tea kettle. It is pretty close to a true white color. I would say it's like slightly off white, like my cabinet color, but not as beige or ivory as most of the things that I purchase in ceramic. I love the spout, how it's near the bottom. It's easy to pour things and sort of get the last drop out. I love these orb details of the handle and on the lid. It really adds like a modern flair. I had been eyeballing this tea kettle for quite some time at Cooper City Antique Mall. The seller had it priced at like 130, which I thought was way too high. And yesterday when I was there, I saw it had been marked down to 60. So I went ahead and picked it up. I am a tea lover. I also love to drink like hot bone broth. It's just like so cozy, especially in the season, soup season, tea season. And anyway, I think that it's a good ritual. I can foresee putting this like on my desk with a mug and having a couple glasses of tea. I actually haven't been drinking tea that much lately because it's not something that I will just pick up from the store. And I say that because once I learned about tea bags and how toxic they were, bleached, a lot of the tea sprayed with so many different chemicals, and the tea bag themselves being quite toxic, then you put that in a hot water and allow those to just seep out into the liquid. Just was really off-putting to me. So there is a brand that I have bought a couple times off of Amazon, but normally I don't stay on top of the orders. So I haven't been on my tea game as much lately. I tried some of like the peak tea powders and I didn't find any that I really loved. My favorite tea before I learned about the tea bags was, I can't remember the brand, but Breathe Deep tea. It had a hint of sweetness naturally in it, and this like really gentle herby taste, just so good with a little bit of lemon, a little bit of honey. That was my go-to. So anyway, I am on the hunt for a new tea, something really non-toxic, organic, and not in a bleached tea bag. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know below because I would love to start using my tea kettle. So I think that's what I'll be on the hunt for next.
this wonderful glass serving dish just for snacks, for a little bit of finger food. I love this like blown glass, sort of like handmade imperfection that the glass has. It's very thick, it's very heavy, which is great for hosting. It's something that I plan to just leave out on the counter. I saw this oak house, which is Annie Meyer Shire's handle on Instagram, link some of these new, but they had 2 sections instead of 3. And I actually had them added to my cart. I got distracted, forgot to purchase. And then when I ran into this one at the vintage store, I knew I had to get it. I think that this is just so nice. It's like one of my rules of thumb when hosting and having people over is to not only have easily accessible drinks and glasses already out so that people don't feel like they need to go through your cabinets, even though I'm like of the mentality when you come to my house, what's mine is yours. If you want to, please help yourself to anything and everything that you need. Some people still feel uncomfortable. I feel like it's just a cultural thing. And so anyway, I started putting all of the glasses lined out on the counter with a big drink bucket, as I mentioned, so that no one has to feel like they need to ask for anything. But one of my rules of thumb is to also have snacks out because when someone comes in, they can grab a little, finger food, make themselves a drink. It really gives your home that like welcoming feeling. And it allows you to be a little bit more hands off and chill and relax because people feed off your energy. So, this I think is going to be great. Okay, this is the last item. I found this set of silver lamps. They have a really wonderful tapered silhouette. I love these details. The top on here is absolutely beautiful. It has the same sort of bottom on there, if you can see. Really, really just so beautiful. This is real silver plate. I am still doing a little bit of research to see if I can get more information on this because I just love learning about my pieces and I keep a journal actually, which one day I'm going to turn into like a printed coffee table book just for myself and to pass down hopefully one day to my kids. But I keep the information about all the items that I bought, how much I paid for them at the time. I normally take a photo and print it out and tape it in there. You never know, but over time, some of these items can become collectible. That's not really why I do it, but it could be a fun perk down the road. But I think it's just interesting conversation, something that I can leave out for people to look through. Most of the things in my house are vintage and antique. And I always love hearing about the story, but I don't always remember every detail about items. And anyway, I just think that it's a really sort of sentimental heirloom item to have. So I'm always working on that. So I'm going to do some research on this so that I can add it in there, take probably a Polaroid photo of this since they print out on the spot, and do a little bit of documentation. But I need to figure out what kind of shade is going to complement this lamp best. I have been looking for probably over 2 years for like column style lamps. I really wanted something in like a classic marble or alabaster or like silver plated. This is the closest that I found. I have found a couple alabaster ones. Um, at Round Top, I found 2 sets, but they were 4,000, which I didn't have the budget for that. That seems crazy to me, and I haven't found any like real. I want it to look like an old school like column on a house, like an architectural column, not like super ornate and chunky and carved, or in a silver. So anyway, I ended up picking up these. I think almost they're like cooler, but I'm very, very excited about these. So I will have to find a lampshade and yeah, soon there will be a new bedroom reveal for you guys, which I'm excited about. Okay, guys, if you made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for another one. Bye.